Panda might look like a character you wouldn't see as a threat, but before you know it, you'll hear round 2, since she took the first round with her explosive damage, tricky setups, and her cute charms. Welcome to my in-depth guide on Panda. Let's start with the pros and cons of playing Panda. The first pro is that she has arguably one of the highest all-around damage in the game. With a blessed wall combo, you will easily reach over 50% from any kind of launch. Panda is also blessed on her range on some of her key moves, allowing you to easily whiff punish from some ranges where other characters cannot whiff punish. As mentioned before, every launch will most of the times net you a lot of damage. Exceptional chip damage on your moves. All the chip you can inflict will add up when done right, making it possible to exterminate an entire HP bar with just some pokes and a combo here and there. A solid heat moveset, where you can charge certain strings, making the charge happen faster. This can result in some high damage and even being plus on block. Panda will also have access to a guard break option, making her mix-up game even more lethal. Plenty of tools out of her stances and to an extent also evasiveness. Panda has access to 3 total stances, and all the stances have some amazing options going for. This allows Panda to crush certain moves while being in a stance. A plethora of setups and sizable amount of knowledge checks. If the opponent isn't ready to defend in the right way against Panda's setups or knowledge checks, Panda can easily inflict an immense amount of damage, resulting in Panda taking the round. Her first con will be the obvious elephant in the room, which is limited movement. Panda's movement leaves much to be desired. From her weak backdash to her limited sidestep and sidewalk, you might find yourself in certain situations that feel quite oppressive since you cannot step away or backdash out of pressure. Panda also relies on tools that can be painfully unsafe. Tools like Panda's go too low, down back 2, being -1 on hits and even -15 on block, forces you to make your moves hit when it counts. Her mix-up options are high in reward, but also unsafe to the point where the enemy can launch you. Panda has a unique hitbox that can be a blessing sometimes, but it also allows certain moves to launch her compared to other characters. This also means that some characters have higher damaging combos against Panda. While Panda has a lot of tools to work with, she does lack the typical Tekken buttons like a solid 13 frame down for 1 and a generic down 4. In combination of being quite the risky character and limited movement, playing Panda against an opponent knowing a little bit of the matchup can be an excruciating experience. Since Panda relies on risky tools to start her offense, you'll experience how one-sided it can feel to play Panda. Her heat. We talked about heat, and yes, her heat has good options. However, her heat signature move in heat is just bad as it results in you being punishable on hit, and it drains a lot of your heat meter. Her heat smash has limited range, is 15 frames, and has bad damage scaling while using a combo. It does set up for solid mix-ups on block though. You should play Panda if you like a challenge, love goofy but strong setups, willing to take risks for high rewards, and don't mind to train your defense and movement to make the most out of her toolkit. Panda has quite some interesting key moves, so try to implement as many as possible for the right moments. Her 1 and also extensions. Your jab is slightly short on range, but still has okay frame data behind it. Being +1 on block and +8 on hits, you can set up quite some easy and rewarding follow-ups, even on block. 1 on its own is a decent poke to interrupt slower buttons, or aggression. After hitting a jab on block, you have some options on block to start offense as well. A pre-buffered command grab like half circle back for 1+2 will come out a frame faster because you're +1 on block, making those grabs 10 frames. If their press fizzes your grab will land as a counter hit, making it harder for the enemy to break the grab. You can also check with your quick 12 frame down forward 4 being +7 on hit and only -4 on block. Your single 1 jab has 2 strings. 1-2 is a new string Panda got and is a double high string. It does inflict chip damage and is safe on block at -5. On counter hit, however, this string completely jills, making it a 10 frame counter hit only knockdown string, which is quite impressive. Use your jab to set up yourself at +1, and 1-2 can function as a super easy but rewarding frame trap. Be careful though, as the entire string is a high. 1-1-1 is your other option and a perfect example of a high risk but high reward string. This string is extremely unsafe at -15 on the second hit and -16 on the third hit, but this unsafe frame data comes with a huge reward being an instant counter hit 10 frame tornado launch. The same rule applies here, where you can frame trap the string after jabbing on block, making the string 9 frames fast after a single jab on block. This can also function as a high risk, high reward get off me button against people being greedy with their aggression. 2-1 is your go-to 10 frame punish. +2 on hit is not too crazy, but it still sets you up for before mentioned frame traps like 1-2, down forward 4, and 1-1-1 if the opponent is impatient. 2-1 ends as a mid and is safe at -3, so this also acts as a fast checking string. This pretty much never hurts to throw out just as a check. 2-1 also has 2 built-in extensions, where 2-1-3 is a high mid-low string. It is okay as a knowledge check string, but it can be low parried when the opponent is ready. The low is also -2, so do not attempt frame traps afterwards. On block, the low is -13, which isn't a huge risk as a round ender, but use this sparingly. 2-1-2 is a high mid-mid, where the last hit is a launcher, but -14 on block, meaning that some characters can even launch you. Like the other extension, it can work, but at rare occasions. 1+2 is your 13 frame punish and is also one of your heat engagers. 1+2 on hit also knocks down and wall splat since it's a heat engager. With that said, this also means that you have access to a 13 frame heat dash, which is an outstanding heat dash since it's quite fast. 1+2 leaves you at +5 after initiating the heat dash and knocks down for a guaranteed down back 2+3 for some decent damage. A potent way to settle 1+2 as a frame trap is after running 1+2, as a running 1+2 will put you at +3, making 1+2 a great frame trap when you're in heat, or it will put you at +5 when you heat dash on block. Forward 2-1 is an exceptional 12 frame punish resulting in a knockdown. Be careful, as the first part of the string is -13 and both hits are high. To throw off your opponent's timing, you can delay the second hit by quite some frames. Also, the second hit is completely safe at -5, which is nice for a moment you overextend it. Down forward 1-2, 1+2 can be a very explosive string when used right. The 3 hit string becomes a full jill on counter that allows Panda to do exceptional damage in the open. The string also gives you a guaranteed down back 2+3 at the end, pushing the damage into even higher levels. Be careful throwing it out too many times, as the second part of the string is unsafe at -11, and the third hit being even more unsafe at -14. It also forces crouch on block, so be careful against certain matchups where characters have 14 or 13 frame while sending launchers. It is possible to train yourself to see when the first hit lands as a counter hit because of the distinct animation on counter hit compared to your normal hit, giving you enough time between the first and second hit to hit confirm the last hit. It might take some time to practice, but I highly recommend it. Down for 1-2, 1+2 is also your go-to wall combo since it allows Panda to hit a guaranteed down 1+2 for some of the highest wall damage in the game. Try to delay the last hit so you see a spike up animation, and when done right, you will get the guaranteed down 1+2. Having a 12 frame mid button is always welcome, and it has quite some potent frame data behind it. Down forward 4 is +7 on hit, making it a good tool to start your offense with either a plus on block move or simply but effectively a frame trap. Down forward 4 is -4 on block, which is acceptable, but the downsides are that it's short on range and the tracking. It has a tendency to whip from certain ranges and it's quite steppable. Be sure to use this button when you're at the right ranges. Back 1 will be your go-to power crush. 22 frames of startup, good range, but also heat engages on hit, which is lovely. This also means that you have access to a power crush heat dash while in heat, allowing you to either absorb, trade and get a guaranteed down back to 3 for some great damage. Or if they block the back 1, you'll heat dash being +5 in their face, allowing you to continue your offense. Back 1+2 is probably one of the moves that has no clear weaknesses and will net you great rewards. Its 18 frames startup, has homing properties, does a sizable amount of chip damage, you can enter the bear stance, and it's safe at -8 on block. On hit, it will heat engage for a wall splat or +17 on hit, like the other heat engagers. This will also be +5 on block when used as a heat dash, but there's one property that makes this heat button a bit better than the rest. It fully launches on hit when you heat dash afterwards. And to top this off, there's some beautiful and unique tech regarding back 1+2. Setting up a trade with back 1+2 puts you at a staggering +15, meaning that you'll get a down forward 2-1 for free. Use this button. Up forward 1 can be used as a solid low crush check, good amount of chip on block, and also completely safe on block at -6. The knockdown gives you guaranteed follows like forward 2. Forward 2 can also launch people mashing on wake ups. Against certain characters, it even functions as an orbital since it will also launch. Down back 1-2 is arguably one of my favorite strings. You could use this string as your 14 frame punish for decent damage, +4 on hit, or +4 in the bear stance. Down back 1 on its own is a 14 frame high and +4 on hit and -10 on block. The entire string is -13 on block, so be careful throwing this out on block. On counter hit, however, it will put you at +9 for a great advantage on counter, but that's not all. When sharp on the counter and confirm, you can pseudo charge your down back 1-2 string, making the string completely jail. And what does that mean? The string would also normally jail into itself on counter hit, but the pseudo charge will leave you at an astonishing +13 on hit, meaning that your 1+2 is guaranteed for some high damage, +17 for strong mix-ups since it forces heat engage, or even a wall splat when near a wall. The second hit of the string can also be charged, but it's quite slow. It takes around 40 frames to charge, giving your opponent enough time to either interrupt or step and punish you. However, when fully charged, the string becomes +3 on block or +3 in the bear stance, allowing you to frame trap afterwards. Frame traps like 1-2, 1-1-1, down forward 4, 1+2, and in the bear stance, HBS 1. More on bear stance moves later. Down back 2 will be your go-to low that isn't locked behind the stance. It sports great range and high crushes. You can also enter bear stance, but do know that you're -3 if you enter the stance. On normal hit, it also leaves you in crouch and -1, which is quite mediocre. Versus players jabbing back while standing forward will lose, so be on the lookout for that. Also on block, it's a staggering -15, meaning that it's launch on block. Please do not be too predictable with this low, as the frame data is not forgiving at all. This low, however, can set you up for whiff punishing when spaced right. Down back 3 is your safer low option, however you'll lose out on range and high crush properties. Compared to the down back 2, down back 3 is +1 on hit, which is a blessing for having a basic frame trap like 1-2, 1-1-1, and to an extent down forward 4. The range can be a bit questionable, but it's worth using it since it's only -12 on block. Up forward 2 is quite slow at 28 frames startup, but has tracking to stop people stepping you, and it hits hard for some great follow-ups. It's only -6 on block, and it allows for some great follow-ups like 4-for-1+2. 4-for-1+2 can even launch when timed right versus back tech, quick tech, and or wake ups for some substantial damage. On counter hit, up for 2 becomes an extremely hard hitting counter hit launch. Forward 1+2 has some great strengths but clear weaknesses. It's a mid that low crushes and is +8 on block, and also enters the bear stance. You're also able to enter roll, making you +5 in roll, making roll 1 a strong frame trap. This all sounds really great, but the weaknesses are that it's extremely slow at excruciating 37 frame startup, and it's laughably linear. 4+2 also hits grounded opponents, which is nice and is a strong option after heat engaging. For bigger risk reward low, you can go for down back 4. 21 frame startup, decent range, hits grounded, a staggering +6 on hit, and on counter hit, it tornado launches for some great damage. It also has high crush properties, and it recovers in crouch for some decent while standing options. And it also allows you to enter roll since you end in crouch. Careful however, as it is a painful -23 on block, and it staggers on block. Down forward 2-1 is an exceptional 15 frame launcher. It sports great range, making whiff punishing super consistent. Be careful as it is -16 on block. This string is also a good way to carry to the wall if you need a simple but decent wall carry string. To control the screen, you have back forward 2, extreme amount of range, safe at -5, quite fast as it's a 15 frame button, and on counter hit it launches for some incredible damage. Back forward 2 is a pawn tool to use after your charged strings, as the charged strings pushes your opponent to the back where they cannot reach you, but you can reach them. Since the charged strings leaves you at +3, back forward 2 functions as a strong frame trap. Be careful overusing back forward 2 since it's a high, meaning you can easily duck and launch it. While running 1+2 is a strong button to start your offense. It has some slight high crush frames, is +3 on block, and you can also enter the bear stance at +3 if you want. While running 1+2 also is a heat engager, making it one of the stronger tools in Panda's toolkit. Heat dashing on block leaves you at +5, like the other heat dashes, but while running 1+2 becomes a full launch if you heat dash out of your heat. Panda has access to a great low when in crouch with full crouch down forward 1. Yes, I know that the notation is down 1, but by pressing down forward 1 instead of down 1, it allows the low to have much better tracking. On hit, it forces the enemy in crouch, leaving Panda in crouch as well, and is +2 on hit, and a phenomenal -8 on block, which in this game where lows are incredibly risky is just marvelous. Please don't be afraid to use this low. While standing 1 and the extension is your go-to 13 frame mid-mid punish for some strong damage. But this string has some interesting properties going for. The same trick can be pulled off here where you can pseudo charge the string on counter hit to maintain the counter hit reaction you would get if you would only hit the second hit on counter. Instead of +13, you get a knockdown, which is very potent if you're close at the wall. Also, if you trade with while standing 1, you'll be +10, so that means that you can get a 2-1 for free. This only works when the opponent is against the wall, since you push them away too much in the open. To set up the trade, hit a full crouch down forward 1 into while standing 1. Since full crouch down forward 1 forces crouch on hit and is +2 on hit, you'll trade Fizz's 11 frame while standing options and beat everything slower for some immense damage. Up for 1+2 is your go-to 1+2 throw. This throw does wall splat, or break, or blast, so it becomes a launcher at the wall. This throw can also function as quite a strong option to punish power crushes, as throws become completely unbreakable as a power crush punish. Half circle back for 1+2 can be used as a side swap, but it also does some exceptional damage. You can pre-buffer the half circle back mid-animation, so when you're out of your move's recovery, the only input you have to press is for 1+2. Try to pre-buffer this throw out of +1 block moves like while running 1+2, or even your jab if you're close enough. Panda has access to 3 total stances. Some of the stances have a lot of options, so it can be overwhelming to focus on the right tools on the right moments, but the other stances Panda has can be extremely straightforward. Hunting Bear stance, or short for HBS, is the stance with the most options. To enter HBS, or Hunting Bear stance, you can simply press 3+4. Since that really isn't the best way to enter the stance, fortunately we have moves that allows us to enter bear stance, like wall running 1+2, forward 1+2, up 1+2, back 1+2, back 2-1, and even more. HBS 1 might be one of my favorite tools Panda has. Multiple reasons why. It is your fast mid check at 12 frames, it is an elbow so you cannot punch parry it, and it has some amazing counter hit properties. On normal hit it is +2, which isn't the worst, but be careful as it is -13 on block. HBS 1 being -13 comes with multiple reasons, which are that on counter hit it's a staggering +12, allowing you to connect a free forward 2-1 for a nice knockdown, or even better, strong damage at the wall. And it gets even better. This string can also be pseudo charged for some incredible properties. HBS 1-2 will fully jail on pseudo charge, and it will leave you at +13 in crouch, allowing you for a free while standing 1-2 for a hefty amount of damage, and +6 in the open. At the wall, however, it will leave Panda at a gigantic +18 since it has a wall stun. HBS 2 will be your go-to high risk, high reward low. It keeps you in HBS, so it allows you to loop your stance game plan. On hits, HBS 2 leaves you at a huge advantage, +21 to be precise, but with that said, it is also -15 on block. This low is a huge threat at the wall, since the low normally pushes them back a little bit. This will push them against the wall, leaving you right in front of them. You can be gutsy and go for 2 in a row to make them panic, and that's when you go for your mids like HBS 1 or other options. HBS 2 also hits grounded, so at certain situations, it isn't the worst to use on hard reads against people not tacking up. HBS 1+2 is a high risk, high reward mid option Panda has. It's launched on hit, but -15 on block. The reason to go for this button from time to time is that it has some very surprising crushing, and even to an extent, can crush or evade some mid buttons. HBS down 1+2 is your slower but safe heat engaging mid option. This option is also extremely effective to high crush with, and is quite a nice option to frame trap with after 4-for-1+2. Since it's a heat move, it also means that you have access to a heat dash move out of your HBS stance. Heat dashing on block leaves you at +5, and it's a full launch on hit when heat dashing. HBS 4-1+2 is your throw in the stance. This throw is unbreakable and also floor breaks or floor blast, so it becomes an unbreakable throw launcher. The tracking is incredible. The only weakness is that it's quite slow on startup with 26 frames of startup. HBS 3+4 is your mid power crush option. This is quite effective against people pressing back, even when you enter the bear stance at -frames. It gives you a knockdown on hit and a wall splats, and it's only -12 on block. Compared to other mid power crushes, that is considered quite safe for a mid knockdown power crush. You also have access to your other stance out of HBS by simply tapping forward twice. This will put you into a quite straightforward but effective stance called roll. Roll 1 is a high 15 frame option that is +4 on block. +4 means that you can set up your trade into launch tag with up back 1 as a frame trap if your opponent jabs back. Against slower buttons, you can go for the pseudo charge for big damage and a free heat engage. On hit, you'll get a knockdown for easy guaranteed follow-ups. To mix up your opponent with your high option, you have your mid launcher being roll 2. Be careful as it is -17 on block, so make sure you read your opponent well. Your third option will be your roll 3, being quite a solid low option. It's a slide, meaning that you cannot just while standing launch punish, as it is -18 on block. You need a specific float punish, so that automatically means that the punish won't do full damage because it counts as airborne. On hit, you'll get a free down 1+2 for some very acceptable damage. Your final option is roll 4. If you think that your roll 2 is a bit too risky as your mid option, you can absolutely go for roll 4. It's +4 on block and gives you a knockdown on hit. and on hit you can even go for a spring kick, resulting into a spring kick comboing. After the combo, you can go into a raw HBS 1 to keep your offense going. Against wake ups, HBS 1 will counter hit them, putting you at plus 12 for guaranteed follow-ups. The final stance Panda has is called sit, and is probably the easiest stance to understand. To enter sit, press down 3 plus 4. The animation on its own takes 15 frames, so it isn't the slowest to throw out but also not the fastest, so be careful with that. Sit 1-1 are double lows. On hit, the first hit is plus 4, it leaves you in crouch, and on counter hit, it's plus 9. Also on counter hit, the second hit becomes guaranteed as well, resulting into the double hit low, jailing. The second hit is plus 6 and it leaves you in crouch as well. Both lows are only minus 12 on block, which is incredible compared to the other lows in Tekken 8. The other and final attack option will be Sit 2, an instant tornado launch that is only minus 12 on block. This stance is incredibly easy to understand with pretty potent rewards and low risks. You can also access roll while in Sit by tapping forward once. Panda has quite the potent tools to initiate into your heat state. Tools like wall running 1+2, back 1+2, HBS down 1+2, 1+2 as your 13 frame punish, that also allows you to heat engage with the pseudo charge stack and are not the hardest buttons to connect. Don't forget that the before mentioned buttons also function as a heat dash, putting you at plus 5 on block and either a knockdown or even a launch on hit. Panda's heat state is definitely nothing to laugh at. Her already potent charge up strings will charge even faster, allowing the charge strings to fully combo on counter hit. A neat little sequence that would normally never result into a full launch now allows you to launch out of a 12 frame mid. HBS 1-2 on counter hit fully combos and puts you at plus 13 in crouch, allowing you to land a free charged while standing 1-2 for an explosive instant tornado launch. The roll 1 option already sports some great properties, but with heat it gets even more lethal. Blocking roll 1 while Panda is in heat will result into a guard break, putting you at plus 12 for a free forward 2-1. This also means that your mid options out of roll are even stronger when Panda is in heat, since they will fear the high guard break. Up for 3+4. Last but not least, we have the Beach Ball Heat Smash. The Beach Ball has some clear weaknesses, but plenty of reasons to still use it. At 15 frames startup, it isn't the slowest, it hits mid, it instantly floor breaks or blasts so it becomes a launcher, and on block you have plenty of options to mix your opponent. You can either enter HBS by holding down or hold 3+4 mid animation being plus 11 on block, roll by holding forward being plus 6, or not enter any stance at all and still be plus 7 on block. The weakness is that the range is quite mediocre compared to other heat smashes in the game, and Panda's heat smash being 15 frames with that kind of range can be quite problematic in certain situations. When played right, Panda can disintegrate HP bars with some very easy and quick to understand combos. Her strengths definitely show at the wall, where she has access to her down forward 1-2 1+2 ender that allows you to go for free down 1+2. The combo structure from her launches are quite universal, so it's not necessarily needed to learn multiple combo structures. Panda does have some interesting ways to enter combos to set up for some strong Oki. More on that later. To set up the combos in the open to allow Panda for some strong Oki or follow-ups, you can try these options. One of the many ways you can set up for some good Oki is end the combo with forward 4 after your tornado. After hitting the forward 4 after the combo, you can go for forward for 1+2. Forward for 1+2 will cover a lot of wake up or quick tack options and will also launch some wake up options like the low and mid kick. When done right, you will be +8 on block in the bear stance to allow yourself to insert even more pressure afterwards. Another option you can go for after the tornado is up 4-2 into Heat Engage and go instantly for fully charged Salmon Hunter. The Salmon Hunter will do a lot of damage when they stay either on the floor or they stand up and they don't block. The risk reward is definitely still in your favor since it's only -4 on block and it will still do a considerable amount of chip damage. The other option you also have after the main launch tornado is HBS 1 for a very high float. This high float allows you to run up towards the enemy and start your offense when they still have to stand up. You can go for 4-4-2 if they stay on the floor, or you can go for a running 1+2 to start your offense again. For scenarios where you enter an instant tornado launch, you can go for the same sequence where you enter up 4-2 into Heat Engage. When Heat Engage, you can go for a fully charged Salmon Hunter, and this is especially strong after a low parry. So this means that if they stand up and they're not ready for the Salmon Hunter, you will still inflict full damage because it's not a combo anymore, so you're not dealing with the excruciating damage scaling of the low parry. And last but not least, if you hit the instant tornado situations, you can go for the super roll, or some people call this the cursed roll. Shoutouts to J-Cats. This is a situation where you go for the normal combo and then Heat Engage and instantly input the cursed roll against people staying on the floor. If they stay on the floor, it will inflict astronomical amounts of damage. If they would stand up, you're still safe and you'll do some chip damage on the side. While suffering from some clear flaws, Panda can absolutely compete against the rest of the roster, but it won't be easy. It might take you extra time, knowledge and effort to make Panda work, but I truly think that she is a blast to play with and worth your time. I hope this guide helps you a little bit, and if you have any questions, just feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Peace and love, everybody.